The Galactic Research Station Horizon's Edge had strict protocols. No open flames, no combustion, no controlled explosions of any kind. For 17 cycles, these rules had kept the multi-species crew safe in the cold vacuum of space. Dr. Arya had broken all three before her first shift ended. She stood in her quarters, humming an old Earth tune while stirring a pot of curry over a portable electric stove. The aroma of cumin, turmeric, and chili peppers filled the air, a smell that would have made any human's mouth water but was currently triggering biological panic responses in every non-human within 50 meters. Rek, a young Vrixian whose species sat comfortably at the top of their homeworld's food chain, pressed his scaled snout against the ventilation grate. His four eyes widened with a mixture of terror and fascination. The chemical signatures flooding through the station's air system screamed danger, capsaicin, smoke particles, and something his instincts identified as predator territory marking. Elder Voss, Rek whispered into his communicator, never taking his eyes off the grate. The human is doing something. Define something, his supervisor growled back. I don't know. There's smoke and heat and smells that make my threat glands activate. A pause. Then, get away from there, cub, now. But Rek didn't move. Curiosity, that dangerous trait that made Vrixians such good explorers, kept him frozen in place. Through the grate he could see Dr. Arya moving around her quarters with casual confidence, occasionally tasting from a wooden spoon and nodding to herself. Then the alarm started. Red lights bathed the corridors in crimson urgency. A mechanical voice announced in 17 languages, combustion event detected, atmospheric contamination, potential hostile chemical warfare. All personnel evacuate to safe zones. Dr. Arya looked up at her ceiling, confused. Chemical warfare? I'm making dinner. Within minutes, her door burst open. Commander Zilth, a towering Krenak warrior whose species had never lost a war, stood in full combat armor with a fire suppression team behind him. His weapon was drawn. His mandibles clicked with aggressive preparation. Human, step away from the incendiary device. Arya blinked at him, still holding her wooden spoon. You mean my stove? Is that what your species calls a portable thermal weapon? It's a cooking appliance, she gestured at the pot. I'm making curry. Want some? The fire suppression team exchanged glances. One of them, a gelatinous coral, rippled with confusion. You intentionally created those chemical compounds? Well, yes. That's how cooking works. Commander Zilth's translator struggled with her words. You are claiming this weaponized atmospheric contamination is food? By now a crowd had gathered outside Arya's quarters. Rek pushed through the legs and tentacles of the adult researchers, his young curiosity overriding every survival instinct his species had evolved over millions of years. Can I see? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Every adult in the corridor turned to stare at the cub. Elder Voss, who had just arrived, reached out to pull Rek back. Absolutely not. The human is clearly engaged in some form of, it's just food, Arya interrupted, exasperated. She lowered her spoon and looked at the assembled crowd of aliens, all of them armed, armored, or actively secreting defensive compounds. Look, I know humans are weird to you all. We climb death worlds, we eat poison for fun, and yes, we deliberately burn our food to make it taste better. But I promise you this is completely safe. Safe? Commander Zilth's translator nearly sparked. Your cooking triggered every biohazard sensor on this station. Arya thought for a moment, then made a decision that would either end very well or very badly. She took a clean spoon from her drawer, scooped up some curry, and ate it in front of the entire crowd. The aliens watched in horror. She chewed, swallowed, smiled. See? Delicious. Rek's tail twitched. You consumed the danger smell? The danger smell is called spices. They don't hurt me. Well, this batch is a bit spicy, but that's the point. She noticed Rek staring at the pot with that universal expression of youthful curiosity. Would you like to try a tiny bit? Just a taste? No. At least 7 species shouted simultaneously. But Rek was already moving forward. Elder Voss grabbed for him, but the cub was surprisingly quick. He stopped at the edge of Arya's quarters, sniffing cautiously. It smells like danger, Rek said slowly, but also like something else. Something interesting. Arya knelt down to his level. That's how the best foods work. Your brain thinks it's dangerous, but your taste buds know it's amazing. Though I should warn you, this might be too spicy for your species. I don't want to hurt you. The honesty in her voice surprised everyone. Here was a human, a species that had emerged from a death world so hostile that most galactic citizens needed environment suits just to visit, showing genuine concern for a cub's well-being. Rek looked up at Elder Voss, pleading silently. The elder sighed, a sound like steam escaping. One taste, supervised. And if you develop any adverse reactions, you're spending the next cycle in the med bay explaining to your broodmother why you ignored every survival instinct evolution gave you. Dr. Arya prepared the tiniest amount of curry on a spoon, mostly rice, just a hint of sauce. Rek approached cautiously, took one experimental lick, and froze. The entire crowd held their breath. Rek's eyes went wide. His scales shifted color rapidly. His tail lashed once, twice, then he chirped, the Vrixian equivalent of a delighted laugh. It burns. But it's good burn? He looked up at Arya with newfound respect. Humans eat this for pleasure? All the time, Arya confirmed, grinning. Commander Zilth lowered his weapon slowly. I don't understand your species at all. Join the club, Arya laughed. We barely understand ourselves. But that's what makes life interesting, isn't it? Over the next hour, Arya's quarters became the station's most popular destination. The combat team turned into a dinner party. Even Commander Zilth tried a microdose of curry, though he maintained it was purely for threat assessment purposes. Rek stayed the longest, asking endless questions about Earth foods, human cooking methods, and why humans seem to enjoy things that should be dangerous. Arya answered each question patiently, realizing that sometimes the bridge between species wasn't built with diplomacy or science. It was built with a pot of curry and a curious cub willing to taste something new. The station's protocols were updated the next cycle. Humans may engage in cooking with proper ventilation and advance warning. All fire alarms during human meal preparation shall be classified as cultural events, rather than galactic emergencies. Rek started visiting Dr. Arya's quarters every evening, eager to learn about the next strange human food. And though Elder Voss would never admit it publicly, he'd been caught researching human spice tolerance and muttering about teaching old predators new tricks. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders. But sometimes the most amazing discoveries happened in a small quarters over a pot of curry, when a curious cub decided that maybe, just maybe, the dangerous things humans did were worth exploring after all.